So you're new to the craft. Welcome. You're loved. My sister, my brother, you are honored. And perhaps most of all, you're confused. Yes, I say confused, because everywhere you look, someone is telling you what it means to be a witch and how you have to go about it. And they contradict each other, right? I was confused in the beginning too. I would have been even more confused if the internet had been around back then. The internet is great, but it's also where we find a mixture of the good, the bad, and the ugly, as well as the ridiculous and the downright harmful. So what's a witch just starting out to do? While mistakes can be the best learning experiences, I think I can help you avoid a few. So here's my top 9 mistakes to avoid when it comes to being new at the craft. We're working backwards from 1. We're working backwards to 1. So here's number 9. Getting stuck as a researcher of the craft rather than a practicing witch. Okay, so there's no such thing as a baby witch. Let's get that out of the way. You're either reading about the craft, a researcher, or you're a witch. If you're doing ceremonies, rituals, and casting spells, then you're a witch. Maybe not a very effective one yet because you're less experienced. But you'll never get the experience unless you actually practice the craft. Not that a witch ever stops researching better methods and gathering new tools, but we're also putting those into action regularly. Just don't let the quest to know enough stop you from jumping in the cauldron and testing the waters. Number 8, start small, safe, and build on successes. Okay, obviously skills build more easily when you also build confidence with successes. Choose simpler spells that you're more likely to have success with, because a backfiring spell is a huge, potentially devastating failure. I'm not necessarily talking about the rule of 3 here, but there are universal laws of energy, and energy follows rules. Gravity does what it does according to physics. So does other energy. If you're new, I guarantee you don't fully understand it yet. If you start by trying to raise the dead and fail, which you will, or curse your ex, which will backfire, because you don't know enough about the way energy works to manage it properly, or anytime you do something that messes with somebody else's free will, get ready for blowback. That's how energy works. And you don't know enough about it. You don't know enough to even attempt it at this point. Every failure acts to solidify your expectations for more failures, or worse, and you won't have the skills to even start to clean up the mess yet. Start with something safe that you're more likely to succeed at, and this builds confidence and belief, which then leads to more successes. It also allows that all-important wisdom and compassion to build along the way, along with your practice. Note, practical magic movie. We've all seen it. I know it's the movies, but there's some wisdom there. Number 7, overspending on witchy stuff and spell supplies. It's tempting, either because you just love the archetypical stuff, or because every spell you see has so many ingredients that you don't have on your shelf. Just start with the basics. That's enough. Things like birthday candles, they're cheap, and they even come in various colors. Simple string, you can always use a marker to color it if you like. Don't discount what's available at your standard kitchen supply rack or your local 99-cent store. Sure, crystals, daggers, all those herbs and correspondences and dainty little cork bottles and incense and tarot decks and runes and crystal balls and scrying glasses and all kinds of other accoutrements are awesome. But they're also just not necessary. In fact, the only thing you need to cast effective spells is your focused intent. You don't even need a candle. It's far more important you spend your time and money learning to focus your mind and energy skills. More stuff doesn't help this. Okay, Number 6, spell ingredients have substitutes. Almost any spell ingredient can be substituted with something else, as long as you know the reason it was included in the first place. Knowing this allows you to select something appropriate to replace it with, hopefully something you already have. Some ingredients are listed because they have achieved significance in the mass consciousness over the centuries, but often the ingredient only needs to be meaningful to you, to aid in your focus and concentration for getting the desired result. Number 5, protection spells are optional. Yes, that's right, they're optional. After, and only after, you develop the ability to determine when they're required and when they're optional. In the beginning, they are not optional. Better safe than sorry. Without generating fear, put your protections in place before you start. Just don't set them in such a way that you're keeping all your magic in, as well as everything else out. Wording and intent are important. An ant won't cross a line of salt at your back door to come in the kitchen, but if the ant's already in the kitchen, it's also not leaving over that salt-protected door either. Just an example. Number 4, witchcraft doesn't work by simply repeating a few words someone told you was a good spell. It's not the words, or the candle, or the sage. It's you. It's what you're thinking about and the way you're thinking about it. It takes effort to be in a state of mind and connectedness to make a spell happen, to make the magic happen. You need to learn to access and direct the energy around the situation, not just talk about it to be effective. And furthermore, most of the time, it takes action on your part to follow the synchronicities that you have just created for yourself, that you've put into play. In most cases, it's not materializing in front of your eyes or while you sleep. Doing a money spell means you still need to do something, not just sit around the house eating bonbons. The universe loves action. You took action by casting the spell, and now take the next step to show your continued commitment. Take action to move in the direction, or at least recognize the doors when they open. Number 3, magic is science, not, magic. While we can certainly manifest our desires more quickly than in days gone by, thanks to the changing energy of the planet, it's still not like pulling a rabbit from a hat. Magic abides by rules of the universe. So learning a bit more about those universal laws will help you use it far more easily. The speed with which you see results will vary depending on your skill level and, of course, but also the type of spell and how many different people or aspects need to shift to bring about the desired result. Now, if the spell is only related to you or me, the changes in that physical or emotional body, I could see that spell take effect practically immediately. But if it requires a shift in hundreds or even dozens of other people, then it's likely to take a bit more time. If you're not seeing movement in the right direction as quickly as you'd like, you can always ask your pendulum if an adjustment needs to be made, maybe something you missed, or something that needs more of your attention to speed up the process. Number 2, get good at managing your brainwave state. This results in increased focus and concentration, as well as increased ability to enter and maintain an altered state of consciousness where that magic happens more easily. A decade-long meditation practice is certainly effective, but today we have easier ways, like special breathing techniques and mindfulness techniques, binaural beats, just to name a few. Even a simple 5-minute meditation will work wonders for your effectiveness. And number 1, the most important thing, I feel, is to learn to discern truth. You can either do this by developing good intuition, or, as a faster route, learn to pendulum dowse. Not only is this cheap, easy, fast, it's a tangible way to get truthful answers to almost any question. It's a great way to avoid sketchy spells floating around the internet, which can waste your time at best and be downright harmful at worst. There are even hazards and time wasters in well-accepted classical published works. The energy of the planet has changed, and some of those old ways just don't make sense anymore. Once you hone your skills a bit, it can even be used to spellcast much more efficiently and reliably than any other method. Okay, there's my top 9. Hope it's helped you.